Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking the Nintendo GameCube and their RPGs. Yes, we all know I love a good RPG, and the GameCube had some of the best ones ever made, and one of them needs a remake. Now. As always, this is just my selection of the top 10. It could be completely different to yours, so let me know in the comments have I got the order wrong, or the ones I need to be in there. If you are new here and you really think I deserve it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when more videos are coming. We've also got the weekly podcast, and we've got a $1 a month Patreon, which you can find the link in the description below. Right, let's get into it, shall we? My top 10 GameCube RPGs. At number 10, Pokemon Colosseum XD Gale of Darkness. Now, this was the sequel to Pokemon Colosseum, and I'm going to put it out there straight away. Don't think it's as good. Do not think the sequel is as good as the first one. So you can imagine, the first one is also going to be on this list a little bit higher. Yes, it's a dark, more mature Pokemon story. It does still have that from the first game, which is good, and it's a fully 3D adventure, which we were dying for when it came to Pokemon at the time. What I didn't like about it though compared to the other one, I don't know, I felt it was just tiptoeing over the same areas, and whilst I did enjoy it, I just felt I would have loved to see a little bit more, to be honest. Also, there's a Lugia, a Shadow Lugia on the box art, and you barely see the thing. Apart from the start of the game, where it somehow lifts a ship, and right at the end of the game, that's about it. It still makes me wonder how the hell Pokemon just haven't taken over the world and how humans are the dominant creatures on the planet. It's ridiculous. It still offers the same 2-on-2 battles as it did previously, so it's still got that good competitive nature, and some of the battles, especially Mount Battle, can be very challenging, especially once you get to the top. It still follows a lot of the same nature, and I think that's why I just don't like it as much, because I've already seen what's pretty much there in the first game. But again, if you like the first one, you're gonna like this one. It's just pretty much more of the same. So I'm not gonna go into much more because I'll be talking about it in about 2 minutes. And number 9, Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. This is a turn-based RPG set in Middle-earth. Rare as anything, but how good is this? Like, I love Lord of the Rings, it's a fantastic series, but this is a JRPG approach. So you've got classic turn-based battles and party management, skill trees and character roles. Awesome, that's how an RPG should feel. In this story, you're following a new party that follows in the Fellowship's footsteps, and basically it's after the movie's events or the book's events, and you're going in after. It's like you're on clean-up duty. I think that's pretty cool, and you're fighting the enemy's leftovers. Yeah, fought this boss? No. Fight him? No. Is Aragorn alive? Yeah, Aragorn's okay. Can we save Boromir? No. No. Oh, I love Sean Bean. This wasn't just a cheap-ass experiment, you had all the things you expected from a movie Lord of the Rings game. It had the original music, authentic sound effects, it had footage from the films, it had voice clips from the actors. Oh, it's exactly what we want with these things. The Lord of the Rings game in this generation were goddamn awesome. Now, the combat itself is actually, when you look at it, hang on, it looks like Final Fantasy X. Yes, it is, essentially, because you could swap party members mid-turn, which is what Final Fantasy X decided to bring in. Now, aside from going to all the beautiful locations you'd expect from Middle-earth, this game has its own surprisingly dark personality. It deals in corruption, death, the nature of power, the temptation for the ring, and this gives it a weight and a sense of seriousness beyond the typical movie tie-in. Yeah, if it was just a straight movie tie-in, we might not like it that much, although that's an absolute lie because I love the Lord of the Rings games. One of the most unique bonuses in any game is that you get to replay major battles as the villains, so controlling the orcs, the trolls, the ring wraith, and even a Balrog. Completing these unlock rare gear for the main party, but it's a fun little twist that you weren't really expecting. It's an underrated classic, and makes you feel like you're in the Lord of the Rings films, because it's Lord of the Rings. And number 8, Pokemon Colosseum. Yes, I had just talked about this earlier with XD, now we're talking about the main game. So yes, it does have a darker, more mature story. I don't like the XD protagonist, but here, Wes, I do like him, because he was basically a thief, and he goes into a criminal gang that he was part of, snags the snag machine, and goes rogue. Now, this snag machine lets you do the one thing you're normally not allowed to do in Pokemon battles, and that's steal the opponent's Pokemon. Yes, if you find out that they've got a shadow Pokemon, you're allowed to steal them, which is absolutely class. You're basically stealing them from the stealing people, and then you can purify them and make your own Pokemon. As part of the game, you'll have to use Pokemon that aren't usually in your top 10 selection, apart from Espeon and Feraligatr, because those things are badasses and should definitely be on your team. Although Bayleaf's in this game, and I hate Chikorita. Ugh, Disgusting creature, it really is. Again, at the time, we all wanted a 3D Pokemon, and this felt like we were going to get it. I was like, it's a great region we got to play with, there were loads of different characters we got to play with, there was no random battles because everything was done in 2-on-2 battles, so the only way you were going to get new Pokemon was through that stealing mechanic, which is kind of cool. The characters you got to see were memorable, well, especially Mirror B with his iconic afro and disco music. What an absolute badass he wants. I like the music, I like the game. I think if you're going to play it on a 1.5 times speed, that makes it a lot better, because otherwise it can be a little bit slow. And as the battles go on, it does get more difficult because this is double battles, and people might not be prepared for double battles. And especially when you do mount battle, if you haven't got a good strategy, you're going to get wiped out quickly. I still like this game, and I got to recently play them again because it somehow appeared on one of my consoles, thanks to a program that sounds like a water animal. I'm not going to say what it is, but we all know what it is. It's a shame that no more Pokemon games have this dark narrative, because I think we really do need it. At number 7, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings in the Lost Ocean. This is a very, very beautiful game. The game uses the pre-rendered and hand-painted backgrounds that look like living artwork, and those pre-rendered backgrounds absolutely stand out. They stand up in today's market. Look at the Resident Evil games, they really work. Even the artwork from games like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, they still hold up, and they're so beautiful. But unlike traditional command-based RPGs, all the combat revolves around cards. So these are things that represent attacks, spells, items and equipment, and this system's extremely fast-paced and strategic because you've got to build a smart deck, and you can chain combos together using numbered cards, and react quickly to real-time prompts. Because of this, it has that deep customization, and you can build the deck however you want. So you've got to tailor the party to the playstyle you want. So do you want a high attack ratio? Do you want elemental strength? You've got to have healing tools. Or do you want a deck that focuses on high risk, high reward? It's up to you, but by doing this it gives the game long-lasting depth and replay value. Now, unlike most RPGs, you're not actually the protagonist here. Now, you're a spirit guiding the hero Colosseum. Characters speak to you directly and ask for your input, and they even acknowledge your presence in the story. You're like Navi. That's the best way of putting it. You're Navi. Except everyone hates Navi. Well, I hate Navi. Baten Kaitos has a really clever story with corruption, betrayal, godlike powers, and there's a really good twist in here, which I'm not going to go into because that'll be spoiling it, and you should always give it a go. The game's universe is fantastic. You explore floating islands and each have their own culture, their own ecosystems and lore. Like, it's a fantastic world, and with all that hand-painted visual style, it just looks absolutely beautiful, and you want to jump in there and grab it with both hands and learn more about the world. Exploration is rewarded thanks to the hidden cards that you can potentially find, and these side quests of beautifully crafted towns. Every area just has secrets and puzzles, and the world building touches that make this world feel like one big happy place that I just need to play in. It's great. But Baten Kaitos should be praised for the risks it took, having a card-based battle system, a player as the spirit narrative, and also the hand-painted artwork instead of going with a full 3D exploration, which results in so many people giving this game so much praise. And number 6, it's Baten Kaitos Origins. Yes, this is the prequel that deepens the lore of the entire series. So this explores the events of 20 years earlier, revealing the origins of the Empire, how we got cards involved, and the backstory of some of the key characters, the villains, the world events. Again, I'm not going to go into big story tropes here because I don't want to. Like, it tells, again, a more mature story, but I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything for you. It follows the same battle system, but kind of just simplifies the system a little bit, makes it, well, a more polished adventure. There's less backtracking, there's faster battles, easier deck management. So whatever was in the first one, just imagine this has just been, I don't know, refined. That's the better. Like, the story's better, it's better pacing, a superior combat system, and because they've already got the stuff from the first one, they can put more into polishing the world building, and also some of the characters have much stronger arcs in this game. But again, without going over the same points, it's just the first one, but better. In at number 5, Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2. Now, this is probably seen as the definitive version of one of the best and complete editions of the Phantasy Star Online. Essentially, it collects the Dreamcast experience that everybody loves and is considered one of the best games of all time, updates significantly, and adds a huge amount of content to the game. With this game, you don't just get the original adventure. Episode 2 introduces new locations, new enemies, new bosses, new quests, new story elements. Like, you've got so much more to play with here. Now, the core Phantasy Star Online loop remains one of the biggest strengths for the game, and it remains here. Combat blends timing-based combos with tactical positioning, and each weapon has their own rhythm. Whether you're swinging a giant sword, you're firing a rifle, casting tech, battles just feel weighty, they've got that responsiveness, and it's skill-driven. So that mix of action and strategy keeps the game compelling for hundreds, and I mean hundreds of hours. There's a loot system that never seems to get old, like everything revolves around getting better gear. And it expands the drop tables dramatically, adding dozens of new weapons, new armor and shields, more mag evolutions, unique item attributes, and rare enemy variants. This game is really pumping up the Dreamcast version to the absolute max. And one of the GameCube's best versions is the addition of the excellent offline support, so it has a full single player mode, offline split screen for up to 4 players, and offline quest support, because the whole thing about Phantasy Star Online was the fact it was a memorable online game, and that's why it was loved so much. The thing that people are going to ask is it as good as the Dreamcast version? Well, I don't think you're going to have the same online experience and the memories that you previously had, but I still think this is a cracking game for the GameCube, and with all the added additions, I think you're going to be fine. And number 4, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Now, this is one of the most charming games on this list, and of course we got the remake which came out, or remaster, whatever you want to put it, that came out for the Nintendo Switch, and that was the first time I got to play it because I was not paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get it from CEX. No chance. Now, The Thousand Year Door is beloved because it has that perfect balance between the humour, the heart, and the classic RPG design, and is obviously a sequel, if you want to put it like that, from Mario RPG that was on the N64, and I love that game, and it was absolutely great. I loved that the characters constantly break the fourth wall, they poke fun at RPG tropes, and they surprise you with that witty, that self-aware sort of jokes. Like Mario himself obviously doesn't talk, but the other characters are what bring this game to life, and I love it. It has that turn-based battle system that's built on from Paper Mario. You can time your button presses to get stronger attacks or do so to actually block attacks, but this time you can use stylish moves to impress the audience and gain bonuses because it's kind of like a theatre. Now, battles take place literally on that stage because everyone's watching your performances, and the crowd can help you out, so if you're doing well, they'll throw stuff to help you, but if you do badly, they'll start booing you, and no one likes to be booed when you're on a stage, not at all. You've got a good cast of characters. You've got Goombella, Koops, Vivian. Although Vivian did cause some controversy, I ain't going into that one. I like this channel. We're not starting that all over again. Oh, no, we're not. The art style of this game is absolutely timeless, having that paper style, which originally we were all like, is that going to work for the N64 version? But we absolutely loved it, so when we got the GameCube version, well, it was always going to hold up. And people have been begging for a remake of this game for absolutely donkeys, so when we finally got it, it's absolutely great. And because Mario himself can fold into paper, well, that's just awesome because you can put him into an airplane, slip him sideways through 3 gaps, and he can turn it into a tube. It's just stupid the stuff he can do, but it just makes it part of the game. And it's actually considered one of the greatest RPGs ever made, not just on the GameCube, so there's a lot of pressure, especially when this came out for the Nintendo Switch, and I've absolutely loved it. Do I think it's the best on the Nintendo GameCube? No, because I've only got it number 4, although some of you could argue it is the best, and I'd hear an argument for that. And number 3, Tales of Symphonia. Ooh, this only made number 3. You're expecting this to be either 1 or 2, a lot of people. And wait, what sets this apart from anything else is its linear motion battle system. Now, this is a real-time combat mechanic that keeps the fight active and engaging. Now, unlike typical turn-based RPGs, players can actually freely move around the battlefield, and they can chain attacks and use special attacks with precise timing. This has that mix of strategy and action, requiring attention to where you put your party, the combos, and the skill use. And the game's cast is one of its biggest strengths. You've got Lloyd, Colette, Kratos, Sheena, Zelos, Rain, and Genis are all distinct personalities with their own goals, motivations, and quirks. And through the constant skits that are kind of done outside the main story, allows you to kind of develop their relationship, you reveal the backstory, and gives that emotional depth rarely seen in a lot of console RPGs in the area, unless it's Final Fantasy. Come on, I will compare everything to Final Fantasy. Now, Tales of Symphonia begins as a straightforward journey to save the world, but as it kind of goes on, it turns into a larger multi-world conflict filled with these twists and moral dilemmas. You've got themes such as prejudice, responsibility, sacrifice, and identity, all explored without overshadowing the sense of adventure, which is really cool. And even with that, though, there's still moments of humour and character-driven scenes, and it keeps the pacing engaging, while allowing the world and its characters to kind of feel really fleshed out. The cel-shaded graphics here are also fantastic. I know we've had that from when we had The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Do cel-shading graphics work? Well, yes, they do. The characters are very expressive, the attacks are flashy, the environments look great. And this visual style makes the game really appealing, but also reinforces like the storybook adventurous tone that the game's known for. Like, beyond the story, there's so much exploration and optional content that's going to keep you engaged for hours. There's hidden bosses, side quests, mini games, and New Game Plus allows you to carry over your progression, so you're going to be fine if you want to keep playing this for hours. Like, I got this on the GameCube, and I was debating if I wanted to get the Nintendo Switch version, but everyone kept saying I could see online, just stick with the GameCube version. So I do have that. I bought it originally when I got my GameCube. Well, I say originally. When I got it second-hand, then I got the game. It's a bloody monster of a game, and I do love it, and I'm glad I can keep playing it, and my children keep playing it as well, because it's just beautiful. And number 2, Skies of Arcadia. Ooh, yeah, I'm putting this at 2. I know the pitchforks are already out, because number 1, I know you're not going to agree with. I know you're not, but it's me. Shush, leave me alone. Now, this game stands out because of its sense of scale and freedom. As part of the game, you go on a big airship and you can go through the skies, and you go from floating islands to hidden towns, mysterious dungeons in this colourful, vibrant world where it really is a sense of adventure. Like Baten Kaitos, every island you go to has unique cultures, environments and challenges. That just means that you never know what you're going to get when you go to the next place. Now, the game does feature a traditional turn-based RPG system, but adds a strategic depth with techniques, positioning and elemental advantages. There's also ship-to-ship naval battles, which are cool, and it's not just fire. This requires planning, upgrades and attack timing. And having the multiple types of battle keeps the game fresh, and you're not just going to get bored, and it means it's not just going to get repetitive. Now, the story itself is a classic pirate adventure combined with high-stakes conflict against a sinister Valiant Empire. Within this, you've got themes of loyalty, courage and woven through, and there are plot twists and unexpected betrayals, and that keeps the story engaging. I ain't going to go through that because I don't want to spoil it, because it's a really good story. Like Tales of Symphonia, you've got loads of stuff to do if you want, loads of side quests upon the main story, to there's hidden treasures, rare items and collectible maps, and again, this has that exploration replayability, and I like a game where I can constantly have lots to do. Okay, maybe not as much as I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I would do like literally 100% everything. Now I don't have that much luxury. I wish I did, but I don't. But the Skies of Arcadia kind of expands what came out on the Dreamcast. It was originally a Dreamcast game and has improved visuals, new side content, and better balancing of the game. The thing is, though, people have demanded probably more than anything on this list for this game to get a remake. And there are so many calls. I do not know why we do not get a remake of this game. It's an instant print money. It'd be like if Game Freak decided to put the Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch. Instant money. We'd all buy it. Full price. I don't give a shit. I'd pay full price. I think anyone else would probably pay full price as well. And at number 1, yeah, I know you're not going to agree with it. It's Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Look, the reason why this is number 1. I can sit there and argue that the other 2 games are better in story, in better in presentation, better everything else. Fine, I can accept that. But I really like my Fire Emblem games. I really love my tactical RPG games, so they're always going to have a special place in my heart. Again, it was one of the first big 3D games before we got the ones on the 3DS, okay? Now, again, I had to go back to these ones because I kind of didn't get into Fire Emblem until the 3DS game, so getting to play this one was so cool. This game follows Ike, who's a young mercenary, and he becomes embroiled in a war that threatens his homeland. So he ain't a noble, he ain't a prince like in usual games. But it's Fire Emblem. You've got a huge large cast, you've got diverse units with their own personalities and backstories, and I love it. And I love the growth, I love the journey, I love the fact that it just looks brilliant. I love the permadeath system. To be honest, do I feel it's cheating a bit having a Fire Emblem game as the top one? Maybe. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I love the sense you can level up your characters, then you can promote to new classes. I think in realistic things, and this sounds really bad, as long as this was a good Fire Emblem game, it was always going to be number 1, and maybe that's poor reviewing on my point, but again, when you have your own preferences, they seem to take heart, and that's not to put the others down, but I don't know, Fire Emblem games just do something for me, they always have. And I think it's because of the fact that I could lose a character any moment. Like, once they die, it's bye-bye. I ain't going to revive them. I can't just give them a phoenix down and say, let's get back into the battle. They're gone. And either I have to make that decision that I can accept that they're going to die and I can say goodbye to them, or I'm going to reset my game, and which is a pain in the arse. And again, this is one I had to play on my console, which was powered by a fish, because I wasn't paying, again, hundreds of dollars to play this game, because that is outrageous. We do now have this on the Nintendo Switch Online, if you've got a Nintendo Switch 2. I do not have that, so yes, it is the fish machine for me. And that's it. My list of the top 10 GameCube RPGs. And you're probably not going to agree with this, and that's absolutely fine. So let me know what your top 5 are. Let me know what you think it should have been number 1. And let me know if there's any ones I've missed on the comments below. Until then, I'll see you all in a few days, and maybe even tomorrow for another video. You all take care of yourself. My name's been Danny. Bye-bye.